What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Music Talks. My name is Brennan, and we have finally finished off talking about the music for 2024, and we're moving into 2025. It is Grammy season. We're a little bit over 3-ish weeks, maybe 4-ish weeks, less than a month till the Grammy ceremony, where they're going to be talking about music from all over different genres and awarding different people and platforms, maybe for the first time, for numerous awards for them, all kinds of different stuff, and it is definitely one of my favorite times of the year. We're just going to go through the nominations. Of course, these have been out for a while, but I think sometimes the big ones kind of get put on the forefront, and we don't get to talk about all of the other genres and, even things like the soundtracks and the things from movies and TV shows that get nominated. There's a lot of stuff. There's close to 100 different categories for the Grammys, so they literally do not leave out anything. With that, there's definitely a lot more that could be added in to kind of showcase some other genres and other types of music, but no other like award show or any kind of organization is like the Recording Academy, which hosts the Grammys, because they just always put like music and art on the forefront. And we have so many other award shows, we have so many other things like the MTV VMAs and the Billboard Awards and the American Music Awards and the EMAs. There's so many that sometimes go off of fan voting, or they might go off of chart performance or whatever is the most popular. And the Grammys do it completely different. I think that's so cool that, we've seen in previous years stacked nominations and stacked lineups of the biggest names ever. And then you have an underdog like Jon Batiste win Album of the Year, which I think is so cool to see those kind of things, and to see how maybe the industry as a whole definitely operates and thinks about things way different than the general public, or just the consumption of radio and sales and things like that is completely different. And obviously I get excited to see people that I like commercially do well and perform well, and have the biggest stuff. But I also think that art is subjective, and everyone has their own thing that they enjoy, and I think that is exactly what the Grammys represent. It's just a thing for everyone to find something that they enjoy in. So the Grammys have always been like a holiday for me, honestly. Since I was like in elementary school, I have been literally in love with it, and just how they operate and things like that. And as I've gotten older and kind of researched the trends and how they vote and people that they really like, people that they don't like, there's a lot of science and a lot of nerdy stuff behind it. And I think that is just why I love it so much, is because there's just so much to dive into. And I think over the past couple of years, we've seen more people get into that, and more people kind of figure that out and see that there's still like a lot of there's like a whole algorithm, there's a whole sort and system to how the Recording Academy operates. And I just think that's so cool. And every year there's always surprises, performances, snubs, awards, whatever you want to call it. There's all kinds of different things happening. And we get some of the best performances, we get some of the best collaboration, some of the best moments in music history. It's just super cool. And I think that like I said, the Recording Academy, which hosts the Grammys, they do a whole lot for music and music education, and they do a whole lot for the music industry as a whole. And I think that is why they've been around for so long. And they're pushing 70 years of the awards, but it is just a very well respected thing, and you see so many people celebrate even nominations and wins completely different than anything else in their lives, right? And of course, with everything else, awards are not the reason why most people make art. They're not the reason why people say, I'm going to put out an album because I want to win a Grammy. And if they do, I don't know how I feel about that. But I think that it is just a really cool opportunity to bring people together from all different backgrounds and do what music does. And that's just bring everyone together and allow music to kind of speak and heal and put aside all the other junk in the world. So this year's show is on February 2nd. It is, of course, smack dab in the middle of award season, with the Oscars and the Golden Globes and the Emmys and all of that stuff. But of course, the Grammys is the sole music show that is going to be on display. So that is an opportunity for it to shine, really put a spotlight on that. I think this year is like I've talked about in the previous episodes, that last year was so saturated with music that there's really no way to tell what's going to happen to this show. And I think that is super, super cool. And every year I try to do predictions of who I think is going to get nominated in the Big Four. And I think this year I did pretty well. I don't remember now because it's been several months, but I always get like one or two wrong because there's always an oddball ad or something like that. And like this year, Andre 3000's ambient, flute album, that was one that I did not expect. And then like Die With A Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars not getting nominated for Record of the Year. There's always one or two things that are kind of no one ever expects, and I think that that's just really cool because there's always something new is happening. And of course this year is definitely going to be different, just with the wildfires and all of the tragedy and things going on. You know, it's kind of hard for some people to want to celebrate music and want to celebrate achievements and things like that when people have lost their homes and literally their whole entire livelihoods, right? And of course, being on the other coast, I haven't had to worry about that, but it's just very, heartbreaking to see that. But I think at the same time, I'm very happy that the show was not canceled, because the Grammys have always done a major thing about allowing music to heal in times of tragedy, and to not give in to whatever's going on in the world. And I think that they have definitely committed to that this year, and donating a whole lot of funds and supplies and whatever's to those victims of the fires. But there's always something that's happening in the world, and the Grammys do a phenomenal job on just using the show and the Recording Academy to just really spotlight things that are going on in the world, and just allowing people to just kind of put things to the side and focus in on music, which is such a great thing, like I said. So I am just going to go through the list of nominations. I'm going to skip some of these because I don't really have a lot of knowledge on like some of the categories, like the classical music categories and opera, some things like that. There's a lot, so this is definitely going to be more than one part. But we're going to be covering all of the Grammy stuff for this whole month, or all the episodes, really dive into it, kind of talk about all kinds of things, and then hopefully we see a lot of cool stuff at the show. But we're going to start with the first Big Four categories. Now, if you're not familiar with that, the Big Four categories is Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, and Best New Artist, which kind of bring together all of the different genres, things like that. And then there's the respected pop and R&B and rap and all of those categories as well. But we see the best of the best all come together for these. So with these, Record of the Year and Song of the Year are the two that I think a lot of people don't ever know what the difference of them is. And so Record of the Year is going to go to the artist and the producers, the recording engineers, the mixers, mastering engineers, everything. If that does not solely be the artists themselves. Of course, the artist does also win for this, but we see people nominated for this category as well. So that is also why artists always want to make sure that they have a hand in their work so that they're able to get recognized for this. Now, Song of the Year is solely for the songwriting. So same for that is that if an artist did not write their song, they are not going to win this song. Of course, they're going to be recognized by name, but that is another good part about wanting to make sure that you have a hand in your work. So with that, the general field is going to start off with Record of the Year, which is probably one of the big two. And so whenever we talk about the award shows and things like that, especially with the Grammy Awards in history, they've always changed the number of nominees from each category back and forth, and that really gets on my nerves because you never know what to expect. And you always think, why did they do it this year? Is there somebody that they want to make sure is included? Things like that. But the eligibility period was September 16th, 2023 through August 30th of 2024, which I also hate because I wish that they would just do January to December. But of course, there's not ever really a time that would work because somebody's going to get left out at some point. But because of that, I think that sometimes a lot of work gets left out. We saw this previous year, like Doja Cat and Bad Bunny, and some people that put out some really great albums that are usually really heavily voted on, kind of get forgotten because of their albums falling in the later part of 2023. And then through August 30th, sometimes you have people that are just right there at the end of the eligibility period that you're not sure if they're going to get nominated just because of the really, really, really tight span of trying to get their music out and get it in there. So they have to really make sure that they have a really big hit if they're going to release that late. But back on track to record of the year. So like I was saying, usually when you have nominations, they have 5 in each category, and then the big 4 category has more. So now they have 8. A couple of years ago it was 10, and I think that was better. But we've gone back down to 8 for a couple of years now. Whatever. But the first one is Now and Then by the Beatles. This one I think was a definite. The Beatles, it's their last song that was ever produced and put together by some of the original members. So obviously that was in there. It has a really big chance of winning because it's the Beatles. Texas Hold'em, Beyonce. Obviously, Beyonce is always going to get this nomination. Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter. 360, Charlie XCX. This one surprised me because of all the songs on Brat, like 360 was not like a massive hit, but obviously that was the one they pushed. So that one kind of surprised me there. Birds of a Feather, no surprise. Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. This is one that I didn't pick. I kind of forgot how much that they really like Kendrick Lamar. I was not surprised to see this in like Song of the Year and the rap categories, but Record of the Year, that one did surprise me. Good Luck Babe, definitely no surprise there. And then Fortnite, Taylor Swift, and featuring Post Malone. No surprise there whatsoever. If I had to narrow this down, I would say that this is probably going to either go to Sabrina Carpenter for Espresso or Now and Then for the Beatles. I feel like that is the most likely to happen. Of course, I might change my mind 10 times. Who knows? Moving into Album of the Year, which is usually the most coveted, the biggest award of the night. So this goes to the artist and the featured artist, the songwriters of new material, producers, recording engineers, mixers, and masters engineers, and credited with 20% or more playing time of the album. So as long as you did a little bit on the album, you're good. That is New Blue Sun, Andre 3000, Cowboy Carter, Beyonce, Short and Sweet, Sabrina Carpenter, Brat, Charlie XCX, Jesse Volume 4, Jacob Collier, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, Chappell Roan, and The Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift. Obviously, Billie, Taylor, and Beyonce always going to be in this category. I think it's very safe to rule Taylor Swift out of this category. I think that she is the least likely to win in this category, and not because necessarily her work was just trash and awful, but I think that when you compare it to Taylor Swift's previous work and the albums that she's previously won Album of the Year with, the Tortured Poets Department doesn't really do anything historical compared to her other wins for Folklore and was it Speak Now, that one for the country album of hers, and Midnights. All of those albums had something very unique and historically acclaimed about them, and this album does not have that. Also, too, if they were ever going to give an artist back-to-back wins for Album of the Year, it would have to be for an album that is just so well critically acclaimed, and that is not this one. It's the same with Folklore and Evermore. I combined the two there. The same with Folklore and Evermore that were nominated back-to-back. Evermore really didn't have a chance of winning compared to Folklore just because of the acclaim of that. I think, honestly, the one person that I would like to see finally take this is Beyonce, of course, because of all the albums that she's had in this category, I think this is the least deserving. Not that it's a bad work, but it's just so overdue. And I know that with this mess, if she does win this, people are going to discredit her and say that, oh, Jay-Z bought it, or it's because Jay-Z said this and this and that. And like, she don't need Jay-Z to talk for her. Whatever. But I think that the other really, really heavy competition is Billie Eilish, who has also previously won in this category. And like I said in my other videos, if you watch, Billie Eilish's album was phenomenal, and it was done so well. And I'm not a huge Billie fan, but I think this album was so good, and so it's very hard for me to kind of figure out which one of the two of these are going to win. I really do think it's between the two of these. I feel like the public favorite is Brat to win, and it's gotten a lot of publicity, a lot of campaigning, but because of that, I think that is why it is not going to win, because normally when you have a heavily promoted album like that, it usually does not win. The same with like Future Nostalgia for Dua Lipa. Ended up winning another award, but it was so heavily campaigned as this amazing album, which it was, but it ended up going up to Taylor Swift. So I think it's going to be the same case there, that she's not going to be able to win with this. So I definitely think Beyonce or Billie. If they pull some random thing like Jacob Collier, I will be mad, because Jacob Collier is a phenomenal producer, but he cannot make an album to save his life, and this was the worst of his 4 volumes in his albums. So that's all I'll say about that. Song of the Year: A Bar Song, Tipsy, Shaboozey; Birds of a Feather, Billie; Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars; Fortnite, Good Luck Babe; Not Like Us, Please Please Please, and Texas Hold'em. I think this is a very stacked category. Song of the Year, I don't feel like it's normally this stacked with hits. But like in past years, when it was like flooded with hits, we saw Bonnie Raitt win for her song Just Like That, which everyone was like, including her, was like, what? But I do think that, I honestly don't know. I think this is a very difficult one as well. I don't see Please 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 winning. I feel like that's the only safe one to rule out. I honestly am leaning more towards, I would love to see Die With a Smile, because it's a phenomenal song, but I feel like that was more deserving in the Record of the Year category rather than the Song of the Year category. Not that it has bad songwriting, but I never understood why they did that switch. But I would like to see that song win for sure, and I think it does have a high chance. Bruno Mars has never lost an award, and I feel like he's kind of staking a lot on this here, but I don't know. I think that it could happen, maybe not. Die With a Smile is my personal favorite, and I definitely think it's in top 3. Not Like Us, I think it's also in the top 3. I think that it has a big chance of winning as well, because Kendrick and the bars on this album are so good. I have a really hard time believing that they're not gonna give Billie Eilish either song or record of the year. So Birds of Feather is also in contention there. That one's a very hard one for me. So Best New Artist is the last of the big 4 categories, and this one is always controversial because everyone's like, you need to change it to or Best Breakthrough Artist or blah, 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 whatever, this and this and that. And that's, I don't know. I disagree with that. I think that Best New Artist doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be a brand new artist on the scene, because obviously no brand new artist on the scene is going to break through and win a Grammy for like their first year in the game. That's just, it's not going to happen, because it takes time to build yourself and your craft. But of course, the average like time of all of these nominees is like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 years, I think is what I read, something like that. But I know that there are some people that got left out of this category because they've been nominated too many times, like Tate McRae, which her team, janky. I can't believe she did that. Megan Maroney also not getting nominated in this. I got beef with too. I hope that they nominate her next year, but I think that she deserved to be here as well. But the nominees are Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, Khruangbin, Ray, Chappell Roan, Shaboozey, and Teddy Swims. Also a very good lineup. I think the only oddballs out here was Khruangbin, but I'm a huge Khruangbin fan. I was surprised to see them here, but I'm so glad that they are here because they are very great, and I've seen that the general public has not necessarily picked up on them yet, but I've seen that the music industry is a really big fan of them. I think that's super cool. I love what they do. It's just one of a kind. Doechii, I knew she was going to get in here because every year they tend to nominate a newer female rap artist, hip hop artist, and Doechii is one of the best in the game right now, and she has been campaigning her butt off. I don't think that she has a chance at this, honestly. Teddy Swims does not have a chance at this. Shabuzi does not. I really think this is going to go to Chapel Roan. I want to say Chapel Roan or Sabrina, but I don't think Sabrina Carpenter is going to win this because she has been around for a long time, and that's a valid argument. If Benson Boone wins this, will have beef about that. He is a talented singer, but the overconsumption of him in the market right now with only one album out and having himself so far up in like these headlines for like Coachella and Governor's Ball, I think, and some other places, like he's being pushed really, really hard right now, and I don't really know exactly why. And it's not because he's not deserving. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting there, and I don't think that he has a chance of winning this. He's still right now just kind of a one-hit guy. I think he's going to have more hits in the future, but I don't know about this. I think it's safe to assume that it's going to be Chapel Roan. I think that she is the most deserving of this. Following up, I would say Ray or Doechii. Ray just because of how loved she is by everyone in the general public for sure. So now we're going to move into Producer of the Year, non-classical. So a producer is going to have all of their the things they worked on that are eligible in the year. And usually this goes to Jack Antonoff, and he's not actually on here for once. He's won like several years in a row, and so I'm glad to see some other people on here. But the first one is Alyssa. It may be Alyssa. I think it's Alicia. She worked with Chloe, Lion Babe, BJ the Chicago Kid, Coco Jones, Jamila Woods. Very classic R&B. Ernst D. Mile, Emile II, who is a phenomenal artist, worked with Lucky Day. He did Die with a Smile, Co Wetzel, Lucky Day, Usher, Victoria Monet. He has a really solid lineup. Ian Fitchick, he worked on Cowboy Carter. He worked with Steven Sanchez, Casey Musgraves, Maggie Rogers. Also, Steven Sanchez not getting nominations for his album at all is crazy to me because Angel Face is a phenomenal album, especially with his producer work getting nominated here. But Maggie Rogers, Role Model, Leon Bridges, he's got a really good lineup too. Mustard, his Not Like Us, and then his album. That's what he has to work for. Mustard's a great producer, but like that's all he has going for him this year. Interesting for sure. And then Daniel Nigro, who did Can't Catch Me Now, Chapel Roan, Olivia Rodrigo. I think this is definitely between. I would like to see Ian Fitchick win because he's got like a very wide range of things to be nominated for, but I definitely think Daniel Nigro is going to take this. I would be very, very shocked for him to not win this. So then we have Songwriter of the Year, non-classical, and that's Jesse Alexander, who has Megan Maroney, Cody Johnson, Dustin Lynch, Jelly Roll, Luke Combs, country. Amy Allen, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Tate, Jesse Murph, Leon Bridges, Justin Timberlake, Edgar Barrera, who worked with Ivan Cornejo, Shakira, Grupo Frontera, Corinne Leon, Camilo, Kane Brown, Becky G, mostly Spanish projects, Jesse Joe Dillon, whose sole credits are almost predominantly Megan Maroney and Morgan Wallen, but also Post Malone and Kelsey Ballerini. And then, of course, Ray, who did her work, Rita Ora, Halle, Jennifer Lopez, Iris Star, Beyonce. I definitely think that Ray deserves this, and this will probably be the award that she takes home. I think the only other person that has a really strong chance of this is Amy Allen for sure. So now we're moving into the pop and dance electronic categories. The first one is Best Pop Solo Performance, which is for new vocal or instrumental pop recording, singles or tracks only. Bodyguard, Beyonce. Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter. Apple, Charlie XCX. Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish. Good Luck Babe, Chapel Roan. I'm going to say... It honestly, with the pop categories, a lot of time it depends on who they give the big awards to. And I think that Chapel Roan or Billie Eilish have a really high chance of getting this, especially if we give Espresso Record of the Year. Best Pop Duo Group Performance. So this one goes to collaborative pop or duos. We don't have a lot of pop duos. Sometimes we see like Coldplay and things like that in here, but usually it's just collaborations between two solo artists. First we have Us, Gracie Abrams, and featuring Taylor Swift. I don't know why this is here. This is the least likely to win. Levi's Jeans, Beyonce and Post Malone. Guess, Charlie and Billie. The Boys Mine, Ariana Grande, Brandy and Monica. And Die With a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. So I think we can definitely rule out Ariana Grande and Gracie Abrams. I would say this is probably between Die With a Smile and Levi's Jeans, honestly. If Die With a Smile wins this, I don't see them taking home one of the big four categories. But if they do, that would be great. But based on their trends, I think a lot of times we see people like go back and forth and be like, oh, we'll give them this one because we're giving this one to somebody else. So, Best Pop Vocal Album, 75% playing time of new pop vocal recordings. So Short and Sweet Sabrina, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Eternal Sunshine, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, and The Tortured Poets Department. I don't see Ariana Taylor winning this. I think it's going to be Sabrina Carpenter because it is a strong pop album, but I don't see Short and Sweet winning a big four category for that. I think it's definitely going to go to Sabrina or Chapel for that. So, Best Dance Electronic Recording. She's Gone Dance On, Disclosure, Fortet Loved, Leave Me Alone, Fred Again, Never Ender, Justice and Tame Impala, and Witchy, K-Tronada, and Childish Gambino. So, I don't know, the awards for the electronic and dance recording is always so weird, and they have like a couple people that they just always go towards. I don't know, and that's always like Rufus Du Sol and K-Tronada, Fred Again, Fortet, like people that are here this year. I don't know. I don't. Just weird. I think that K-Tronada and Childish Gambino have a chance at this. She's Gone Dance On is a good song too. I haven't done enough research to know how well they like Disclosure. I'm going to put this on K-Tronada, honestly. So, best dance pop recording. So this is a newer category that started last year, and this is going to be a very difficult category, I feel like, for years, but I'm glad this is a category. This has Madison Beer. Insane. Make You Mine is a great song, but who would have thought that Madison Beer would now be like a 3-time Grammy-nominated artist? Maybe 2. I think she's 2. Not. Anyways, Von Dutch, Charlie XCX, L'Amour de Ma Vie, Over Now Extended Edit, Billie Eilish, Yes and Ariana Grande, and Got Me Started, Troye Sivan. I would like to see Troye Sivan win this because he's criminally underrated in the U.S., but because he's competing with Charlie for everything this year, I definitely think this is going to go to Charlie XCX or Ariana Grande. I think that this is probably the only category that Ariana has a strong chance of winning, and I still think she's going to have to compete with Von Dutch. And Von Dutch is a great song. Definitely the song that should have been put up for Record of the Year and stuff. Best Dance Electronic Album, Brat, 3 by Fortet, Hyperdrama Justice, Timeless, K-Tronada, Taylor Zed. That Zed album was not good. I like Zed, but no, I didn't listen to Fortet. Justice was fine. K-Tronada's album was a little bit of a disappointment for me. I think Brat has this. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that Brat is going to win. Best Remixed Recording, Alter Ego, the K-Tronada remix by Doechii, a Barcelona remix by David Guetta, Espresso by Mark Ronson, Joss Sees Them by Julian Marley and Antius. I haven't heard that one. And Von Dutch, the A.G. Cook remix that has Addison Rae as well. Ooh, making Addison Rae a Grammy winner, that will be interesting. Well, I mean, technically it's not going to go to her, but having her name on a Grammy-winning song would be interesting. I think this is going to go to Von Dutch for sure. I think Charlie's going to have all the dance categories locked. So now moving into rock, metal, and alternative music. I'm probably going to kind of fly through metal because I don't know metal music very much. That's like one of the only categories of music that I don't really care for. But best rock performance, Now and Then the Beatles, Beautiful People Stay High, the Black Keys, The American Dream is Killing Me, Green Day, Gift Horse, Idols, Dark Matter, Pearl Jam, and Broken Man, St. Vincent. This one has 6 nominees because it must have been a tie. They really like St. Vincent, but I don't think her album was that good. I think this is gonna go to the Beatles or the Black Keys. I liked the Black Keys album. It wasn't amazing, but it has really racked up nominations in their categories, and I think that it has a chance of winning. Best metal performance, Gojira, Judas Priest, Knocked Loose and Poppy, Metallica, Spirit Box. Like I said, I don't know most of those. If I had to pick off the top of my head, I would say probably Metallica, maybe Judas Priest would be the other one that I would think. I don't know though. I like I said, I just don't know enough about them. I was trying to look at some of like the statistics to see what the experts were saying, and there's not really some for metal this year. I don't know about that. Okay, so best rock song, the Black Keys, St. Vincent, Pearl Jam, Green Day, and Idols. I think Pearl Jam is going to take this. That album has been very well received for sure. If I had to pick a secondary winner, it'd be the Black Keys. And that song was for Dark Matter. I don't know if I said that. Best rock album, The Happiness Bastards, Black Crowes, Romance, Fontaines DC, Saviors, Green Day, Tank by Idols, Dark Matter, Pearl Jams, Hackney Diamonds, The Rolling Stones, and No Name, Jack White. That is a really stacked lineup. Obviously, having 7 nominees in that category, they must have had some issues there, honestly. Fontaine's DC album was very, very good, and I think that it has a high chance. If I had to pick another person, I think it's going to be between Pearl Jams and Fontaine's DC. If anybody's going to sweep all of the awards, it's going to be Pearl Jam, for sure. Moving into alternative, I'm so glad that we got more alternative categories because there used to not be very many, and alternative is such a cool category. So I am glad that we have gotten that. So the alternative music performances, Neon Pill, Cage the Elephant, Song of the Lake, Nick Cave and the Bad Seas, Starburster, Fontaine's DC, Fleas, St. Vincent, and Bye Bye by Kim Gordon. I don't know that I'm a huge fan of a lot of these, honestly. I don't know. I think that, honestly, if St. Vincent is going to win a category, it's going to be this one. And it would probably be Fontaine's DC if it wasn't her. Best alternative music album, Wild God, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Charm, Clairo, The Collective, Kim Gordon, What Now, Brittany Howard, and All Born Screaming. I loved this Brittany Howard album, and I was surprised that it didn't get nominated for Best or Album of the Year and some other Big Fours because they usually love her work, and it was definitely her best album, but I don't know. I think that I don't think it's going to go to Clairo at all, and I'm surprised that she was nominated. I would love to see Brittany Howard take this, but I think it's going to go to either St. Vincent or Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. That is, I feel, is the most likely. Okay, so R&B categories. I got beef with the R&B committees and voters this year because there's so much good R&B artists and work that came out in the last year that was nominated, and they just kind of threw out so many of them, and I was very disappointed to see some of the people that were on here and some of the work that was left out. Oh, it really annoyed me out of any of the other categories. My predictions for the R&B categories were so off this year because of how crazy these were. I'm just very upset with how these went. But R&B performance, Guidance, Janae Aiko, Residuals, Chris Brown, Here We Go, Uh-Oh, Coco Jones, Made For Me, Live on BET, Money Long, and Saturn SZA. Saturn SZA, I think I would love to see Here We Go by Coco Jones also win this because Coco Jones is great. If they give this to Money Long, I will be mad because I just don't get the hype behind Money Long. I think she's a phenomenal songwriter, but her album and her work as a whole, I just am not very impressed with, especially with the Live on BET. Obviously, this is a performance category, but I think SZA's got that unlocked. Best traditional R&B performance, Wet, Marsha Ambrosius, Can I Have This Groove, Kenya Dixon, No Lie, Layla Hathaway and Michael McDonald, Make Me Forget, Money Long, and That's You, Lucky Day. Well, Lucky Day deserves this because this is one of the best R&B songs I've heard in years, but I don't see him winning this. I think Money Long is going to win this, but he's definitely the most deserving. I think he has a chance, but against Money Long, it's going to be very difficult. Best R&B song, so here we've got After Hours, Kehlani, Burning, Tim's, Here We Go, Coco Jones, Ruined Me, Money Long, and Saturn SZA. I think SZA's got this on lock too, and I think that Coco Jones also has the second most likely chances of winning this. Best progressive R&B album. So this one is one of them that really made me mad because we have Avery Sunshine, Duran Bernard, Childish Gambino, Kehlani, and No Worries, which is Anderson .Paak and Knowledge. Anderson .Paak and Knowledge as No Worries for Wylard is definitely the most likely to take this because they like Anderson .Paak now, especially working on Silk Sonic. If I had to pick another one, it'd probably be Kehlani, even though that's probably one of my least favorite Kehlani albums. It's not bad. It's the Anderson .Paak of it all. Probably going to get that there. Would not surprise me. R&B album, 1111 Deluxe, Chris Brown, whatever. Vanta Black, Layla Hathaway, Revenge, Money Long, Algorithm, Lucky Day, and Coming Home, Usher. This is such a bad category. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with Layla Hathaway's work, so I don't want to speak on that. Chris Brown being nominated, I don't understand. Whatever. Algorithm by Lucky Day is such a phenomenal album, but usually when he gets nominated, he does not win. I'd like to see this pull through, but I think they're going to give it to Money Long. Whatever. So now we're going to move into the rap categories. So rap performance. Dang, this one has 7 nominations too. I'm surprised. Enough, Miami, Cardi B. When the Sun Shines Again, Common and Pete Rock featuring Posnoids. I don't know how to say that. Nissan Altima, Doechii, Houdini, Eminem. Like That, featuring Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, Glorilla, and Not Like Us. I mean, Kendrick, I think Kendrick's going to take home all the rap categories. If I would love to see Doechii win this, but Not Like Us. Come on now. I think that Eminem and Cardi B are the least likely to win this. They're just here because it's Eminem and Cardi B. Melodic rap performance. So, melodic rap performances this one is a category that is a combination of R&B, melodies, and rap. I'm so glad that they have created all of these rap categories because sometimes it's very difficult to just kind of put in all of the rap-leaning songs together because there's a lot. And sometimes you have pop rap and you have R&B rap. So this one's great. So you have Kehlani by Jordan Editunji and Kehlani. This one was big on TikTok, and I'm surprised this is here. Spaghetti, Beyonce, Linda Martell, and Shabuzi. We Still Don't Trust You, Future, Metro Boomin and The Weeknd, Big Mama, Lotto, and 3am Rhapsody featuring Erykah Badu, Spaghetti. This song is great, but Beyonce very much deserves this. I have no backup for that one. I'm pretty confident in that one. So, best rap song, Asteroids, Rhapsody, Carnival, Kanye and Ty, Like That, Future and Metro, Not Like Us, Kendrick, yeah, Glorilla. Not Like Us. I'm not even gonna debate that one. Rap album, My Delete Later, J. Cole, The Auditorium Volume 1, Common and Pete Rock, Alligator Bites Never Heal, Doechii, The Death of Slim Shady, Cope de Grace, Eminem, and We Don't Trust You, Future, and Metro Boomin. I feel like that one is gonna win, but Alligator Bites Never Heal, Doechii, phenomenal project. She's been campaigning her butt off, so I think that she's definitely in that top 2. And I think it's like she would be like the first woman since like I want to say like Missy or Lauryn Hill that has won this category. And for a project like this to win would be historic. And it's also just a really, really good album. And I would love to see her win. I don't know if she's gonna though. So next we have spoken word poetry. Queen Sheba, Omari Hardwick, The Beginning Was the Word, Malik Yusuf, Tank and the Bangas, and Mad Skills. Tank and the Bangas is the only album on this list that I've listened to, so I'm just going to say them. Jazz performance. I don't know much about the jazz nominees this year, but Samar Joy does have nominations in both the performance and vocal album, and of course she did surprisingly win Best New Artist a couple years ago, and she's great, and she doesn't get enough cred at all. I think that she has great work, and of course this is for a joyful holiday. It's for her Christmas work, but honestly I think it's very, very deserving. I'm not familiar with a lot of this other work. I've heard of a couple of them, but I don't really think that she's gonna have trouble winning any of these. Jazz instrumental album and large jazz ensemble album. I usually kind of do research on these closer to time, but I'm not very familiar with them, so we're gonna skip those for now. Latin jazz. This is a category that I know absolutely zero about, and I think that is so cool. Latin jazz. Who would have known that it was a thing? It says that it's recognized recordings that represent the blending of jazz with Latin, Iberian American, Brazilian, and Argentino tango music. That is so dope. I love that. I'm going to have to listen to these. There were 7 for that category too. Best alternative jazz album. Now this one I do know a little bit more about. Arooj Aftab, Andre 3000, Robert Glasper, Keon Harold, and Michelle. Hold on, bear with me. Michelle Dejicello. We're going to go with that. I think this is definitely going to go to Andre 3000 or Robert Glasper because they really like Robert Glasper for sure. Best traditional pop vocal album. So this one is one that's usually kind of forgotten about. But it's not bad. A Fleur de Peau by Sorrel Amy, Visions Nora Jones, Good Dealer Lake Street Dive, Impossible Dream Aaron Lazar, and Christmas Wish by Gregory Porter. I'm going to have to say Lake Street Dive or Nora Jones, probably leaning more so Nora Jones. Best Contemporary Instrumental Album. Don't know anything about these people. I need to listen to this one as well. Taylor Eagsti, Bella Fleck, Billa Frizzell, Mike Giuliana, and Julian Lage. Obviously, my pronunciation of these people, I'm so sorry if they're wrong, but they probably are wrong. I'm butchering these names. Best Musical Theater Album. So we have Hell's Kitchen, Merrily We Roll Along, The Notebook, The Outsiders, Suffs, and The Wiz. So I'm not a huge musical theater person. I'm familiar with some of these, but if I had to pick one, I would say it's probably going to go to The Outsiders just because it is a very, very well-received album and show. Maybe Hell's Kitchen coming in closely second, but I'm going to lean towards The Outsiders because it's done very, very well. So we are going to stop right here because we're about to get into the country categories, and we're about halfway through, and there's a lot, and those are a lot to discuss because then they're going to follow up with Americana and all kinds of stuff. Here, we'll do the bluegrass and traditional blues album. Blues. So there's a lot, and I need to familiarize myself with the blues categories as well because there's a lot. So obviously we still have to get into the country album categories. We've got to get into gospel and Christian, the soundtracks for video games and movies, TV shows, all of that. We've got so much. Then there's several of those for the visual media, music video, comedy. There's still a lot to get through, but we're about halfway through there. I definitely need to look through a little bit more of some of these, but we're going to stop there. Like I said, the Grammys is in a couple weeks, so we're probably going to do like 1 or 2 of these a week so that I'm not overstimulating and putting too much out there. But like I said, I think this is a really good, diverse group of nominees this year. I think that, like I mentioned in the previous episodes, if you watch those, the country and pop categories have been so flooded with nominations and just work that is just so good. So I think that those are going to be the hardest to predict because they are stacked. But with that, go look at those, check them out. I think this is also definitely a cool time to go and listen to some new work, some things that you didn't know about. I always find new things that I haven't listened to here. So I've got some work put out for me because I've got some more to listen to. But we've got a lot more to get into. Like I said, Grammy is February 2nd, and we will pick back up with the country categories on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.